The football field. I was about to say, Dale, I've been disappointed in this first 50 minutes of Marty Mitchell. He's been playing way back, too far back for a halfback from the line, but as we see him pick the ball up there from dummy half, the kid does have some strength. Kevin Oro does know how to pick him. He can score tries.
Tautoko hoki tērā, Tony. Nā te kaha ahakoa, te pakupaku o te tangata nei kuina tētahi o ana tino pūkenga, he tino kaha ia, rā ki te tērā kawe ia. Toko ruanga kai rutu o te kapa Wellington Orcas kia whiwhi piro mo te kapa Lions.
And of course, Te Arahi, our replays brought to us today by Crown Lift Trucks. And unfortunately, normally we bring them, Dale, this time of the day too. We bring the United Video player of the day, and unfortunately our executive producer out there in the truck has unfortunately forgot to turn the on button on, and we haven't seen that today.
And we won't be either, but we certainly thank United Video for the ongoing tautoko. The conversion is successful, the scoreline stretches out, but still the Orcas can stay in touch, but they'll need to be scoring next, and they'll need to turn over some possession, and it has been losing possession. And it's been really the telling factor here. We saw the ball put down there by Koliavu, and all of a sudden they're down another 6 points.
I remember back in the early days when I was playing football, and if I'd made an error, I was playing centre, and I happened to make a couple of errors that got our team into a bit of trouble, I'd get a big kick up the backside by one of our front rowers, and that's what the Wellington front rowers need to do to their centres and their wingers, because they caused a heap of defensive problems for their team, which has allowed the Auckland Lions to break a lead on them. So let's just hope, Paul Bergman would hope that they can get this percentage rate back up to where it was in the first half.
22-10 is your scoreline, and the Lions growing in confidence as the scoreline extends. Now 32 out from their own line, 5 in from the broadcast side of the field. Little dummy and run from Anthony Swan. He will play the ball now 8 short of halfway. Plays it back to Uwasi, who finds Physicality as a first receiver. Solid defence up the middle. Fred Moore with assistance from Justin Carnegie. Make sure he can't advance any further. To the halfway they go, just over halfway. That is a good carry and a good run. The tackle made there by James Mwala. The possession going the way here of the Lions. The chip and regather, clever play, and then popped over the back. Still with the ball. Fa'alongo sees the line. Great effort. Big chip and regather from Mitchell. Sala Fa'alongo is there to capitalise. The Lions are in again.
Oh, that was just an outstanding play with a little chip here by Raymond Ioane, who's just jumped over the back of them and thrown the ball out the back, hoping for a miracle. And who should it fallen but the big second row, Sala Fa'alongo. The rest is history. Throws the big dummy out to his centre and goes in 10 metres short of the upright for what will take the Lions to a 26-10 lead. As we see it, Raymond Ioane with the little chip kick, nice little catch, thrown over, wishing for something, and who should get it? Sala Fa'alongo throws the big dummy, everyone jumps in the air. Sala Fa'alongo can't believe his luck. Te Arahi must be just got that try-scoring ability, Sala, isn't he?
Oh, mate, talk about try-scoring ability. That is number 5 for Sala Fa'alongo for the year, which makes him second, equal with a couple of other players, and that's second only to Tui Samoa, who is currently on 6, so he's definitely got that try-scoring ability. But I want to give Raymond Ioane a bit of a rep for his short kicking game. He's been very, very dangerous. Most times that I've seen this year, in this game, that he's been first receiver over Marty Mitchell, and it's definitely paying dividends with his short kicking game.
I'm glad you gave him some reps, because I can give him those reps to Marty Mitchell. Nice effort from Ray Ioane, and Sala Fa'alongo, as always, proving to be a handful down the right corridor. That conversion attempt is successful, and we see the scoreline starting to extend even further for this Lions team, who are setting the benchmark in 2007 in the competition. Well, Tony, we spoke about the importance of the Orcas getting away to a good start in the second half. It hasn't been the case. They've got a lot of work to do to fight back.
Yes, that's right. They find themselves behind now, 28-10, Dale, and probably not the start that they wanted as far as how they went very well in the first half with their completion rate. So Paul Bergman, as we see, has made a couple of quick changes here to hopefully stop the bleeding and get these Orcas back into the game.
But he might be. It's a lot about communication on the field. We've already spoken whether or not there's been a lot of communication with Wellington. Have they upped the ante there, or do you think that they are still a little shell-shocked?
Well, if we're looking at the stats, it's dangerous dangerous signs for the Wellington Orcas. Looking at the attacking from Auckland Lions, they're only averaging 16 points a game in the first half, but they definitely open it up in the second half when they get over 26 points per game. Tag that with the Wellington Orcas' frailty so far in the second half to defend. It could be a long afternoon for the Orcas if they don't fix things up pretty quick.
This Kimi Iwasi's made quite an impact since he's come off the bench, Tony.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, and we picked that with Regan Wigg, who wasn't himself. Normally we see Regan getting out and doing exactly what young Kimi Iwasi has been doing for the Auckland Lions. He has put them back on track, but it's errors like that we had there from big Musi Marsoi that is just killing the Wellington Orcas. They find themselves again sitting on their own try line, defending an Auckland Lions team that knows how to score tries.
There's Iwasi. He will take the ball on the 10 metres. Dangerous times now for the Orcas as the first receiver is Eddie Purcell. Purcell gets the ball to Sturm. Sturm is over the line, but he can't get the ball down. Well, we mentioned how dangerous they are on attack. That danger still exists as Sturm backs up. Plays it on the 10-metre line. Left they go with the football. Lions turning it back on the inside. Is this Purcell? Played outstandingly in the match against the Bulls last week. Gets up to play the ball, the Mount Roskill Grammar player. There's Ioane, holds it up, lovely ball, and Matthews gets hold of it, he's in. The Lions, well, they're scoring more than, I don't know, your biggest Casanova.
More than a point a minute in the second half, Dale, you're dead right. But this, of course, Raymond Ioane going to first receiver, like Tiari said, and just dictating what should happen with the traffic and putting young Howard Matthews through. As we see the Crown lift trucks replay here, Ioane taking it to the right-hand side. Nice little dummy and show and go. And, of course, Howard Matthews crashing through that cook straight hole that the Wellington Orcas seem to leave in their defensive line.
There's a few holes that are definitely turning up in the defensive line for the Wellington Orcas, and for Hayden Matthews, again, second top point scorer in the competition, and he joins his mate Salah Fa'alogo in second place for top try scorers. That's also his fifth for the year.
Warriors development player. In fact, they've got their eyes on a lot of our young talent, haven't they, the Warriors? I suppose that happens in most NRL clubs, but really they're IDing them at 12 and 14, aren't they, Tony?
Yeah, that's right. They have a number of 14-year-olds into the Warriors development squad. You do tend to see, whether it be genetics or through previous ability, maybe their fathers played the game before that, these kids can play the football. So it's important that you identify them early if they are to come into your NRL system and give them the learnings and the understandings before they play first grade. We see it with Ben Matalino. He's been left in Wellington to develop, which I think is a great thing. But next year's a different story, as we see Howard Matthews missing a kick from the identical position of the last try being scored, which leaves the Lions 32 and the Orcas trailing by 10.
16 unanswered points in the second half here, Tarahi, and certainly not the start that the Wellingtonians would have wanted.
Tika hoki tāu, tau ko tā rātou hapa, kore rātou e tāia ki te aukati i te kapa Lions, ko te nuinga o te pauroko, wehe atu ki te rātou taha ki ngā hoia o Brent Gemmell. Nō reira, ko te mea tuatahi me pupuri rātou i te pauro, kāti aua hapa ki roto i tō rātou ake hawhe, nā tērā, kei te pēhi a rātou anō.
Tēnā koe Tarahi, of course, anchoring the commentary for our Sunday broadcasts on Māori television, Tarahi, where our call is predominantly in Te Reo Māori. And tomorrow, a fine game for you to view at 2 o'clock on Māori TV. It is the Canterbury Bulls against the Counties Manukau Jets with Tarahi Maipi, Sonny Whakaro, and also Richie Barnett tomorrow from 2.
That's a better set here in defence style by the Wellington Orcas. Let's just see if they can hold here, not give away a penalty, and try and get some football, which they've lacked in this first 20 minutes of the second half.
We're thinking about game breakers for them. At the moment, they've been forced to do a lot of defending. As we see a break on the far side of the field and a skillful offload as well from Anthony Swan. Still alive, Dylan Davis, now Uasi, still with Fisiahi. Pushes off one, can he get the pass away? He can't, to ground on the 10-metre line. Options left and right for Uasi, he goes left this time. The Lions, wide ball to Shopkul, and he still can't get there with the defence solid by James Moala.
Oh, hanging on by the skin of the teeth, the Orcas in defence there. I thought the option was to go right there to Ioane. The last 3 times I've gone to him, they've come up with trumps. Unfortunately, they went to Marty Mitchell, who tried to throw out the Wally Lewis 10 cut-out pass to the winger, who just took the tackle.
Well, we get another chance to have a look at the completion rate on the 58-minute mark here. 25 from 32, that is skillful football from the Auckland Lions. And when you consider that they've had near on double the amount of possession and for those sets of 6, the scoreboard should be no surprise.
That's right, Dale, and possession is the way that you win the game of rugby league. And unfortunately for Wellington, they haven't had enough in this first half. I haven't seen them down on the Orcas on the Lions try line yet. I've seen plenty of them on their own try line. That's just what Phil Bergman doesn't want.
Well, as you can see, a big shot there on Mosin Maasoi. Almost had to get on a step ladder to get up and whack around the mush. Very politely spoken referees for the most part, aren't they, Taudahi?
Very much so. It's quite civil out there with a few barbarians going hard out against each other. But it's good to have a calm head right in the mix there to make sure that everybody's following the
He's been outstanding today too, Taudahi. Aaron Kishan in the middle of the park. He's been very clear with his calls. And, of course, he's talking to the players all the time, is what you would like when you are out there in the middle and understanding the game. So good on you, Aaron. Keep it up.
Mate, and on that too, I mean, I'm not one to bag the referees, but I think just a couple of those decisions, it's going back a long while now, and the Lions have been very, very good, especially in the second half. But that call, go back to that call with Ben Taraika, when he was ruled out, that was a pretty suspect call, and things just went from bad to worse from that point onwards.
Well, you've got to make your own luck as a hole opens up, and through they go. Will it go all the way? The Orcas! The Orcas through Nathan McNamara is in next to the post. Outstanding individual effort.
Oh, what a carry from Nathan McNamara from dummy half there. Drill splitting the holes in the Auckland Lions defence and showing the pace and the strength in the end to break 2 tackles to go over and score right next to the left upright to bring the Orcas back into the game. As we see him, comes out, steps Matty Stern off his outside foot, shows a little bit of pace, gets held there back by Uani, but has too much strength to break the tackle of Harold Matthews and score next to the left upright.
Nathan McNamara scored a try last week and he backs it up again this week. I remember last year, I'm sure it was him. It was a game right here in Monday Night League at North Harbour Stadium. He scored one of the best tries of the whole season from end to end for the Wellington Orcas, and that could be the spark that the Orcas need to get themselves back into this game.
And the conversion is successful, not surprisingly, right next to the post. There's Nathan McNamara. I didn't think he'd get there.
No, that's right. And not speaking of Paul Bergman before the game, Dale, as we see him take out here the crown lift trucks replay, showing a little bit of pace, he reckons that this break is the game breaker, Tiara, coming off the bench. We see that with his first carry of the football. Let's hope we see some more of it because they need him.
Again, it's that efficiency. I mean, the Orcas, whenever they get down to the Lions line, they're dangerous. They haven't had that much ball, but they've crossed the line 3 times, although they're probably, I guess the possession rate will be around about 35 to 40%.
Mate, are you sure that Tani Wharo haven't offered you a job?
Oh, mate. Here you go, JD. Are you listening, buddy?
Good shots, boys.
No, the boys are doing well this year. I'm sure my input will probably hinder their performance. They're going really well. Just another prop to the boys there. They're cleaning up down their Waikawa Bay competition.
That's a good carry again from Ben Matulino. Gee, he's put on some size in the off-season, and we've been calling him 6'4". I said with or without the hair, but, you know, the hair's got to be a good 4 inches in itself, so maybe he's 6'8".
Yeah, no, he is a good player, Dale. You're dead right. As we see Paul Bergman making 2 quick changes here with Nathan McNamara and Willie Kautua on, he reckons both these kids can play football and cause havoc to the defensive line of the Auckland Lions. So let's hope that we can have that come this last 20 minutes.
Okay, time for Kōrero Riki once again, and our kupu today, Whanapahu, the bomb kick. We've only seen a few of them today, but they've become such a prominent feature of the modern game of rugby league. As Marty Mitchell finds a hold, as he got the wheels to chase down, they won't get him. It's Marty Mitchell all the way.
And with the 7's dive going over there, I hope the poor kid isn't winded, but he had too much legs coming from a scrum there, an error, which has caused again the Wellington Orcas another 4 points.
Marty Mitchell, again proving his worth, got plenty of wheels once he does find himself in space. As we mentioned, former Australian representative schoolboys, that is, with the Doggies over in Sydney from 04 and 05, and with the Cooks, and now with the Lions, showing a clean pair of heels, Taudahi.
Exactly right there. It's pretty simple stuff. He just sliced right through the hole. Now, looking at the Auckland Lions, although the first part of this first half, they weren't too crash hot, but judging their performance based on last year, they won the competition last year. They won their first 9 games by a margin of 18 points. This season, they've won their first 3 and well on their way to winning their 4th by a margin of 28 points. So although Steve Buckingham ain't around, perhaps this team is actually better.
It's a nice call. And Bucko, if you are watching, mate, he didn't really mean to say that, because you've been an outstanding stalwart for this competition over the last 4 years, as we see the kick being kicked by Howard Matthews to take another 2 points. The Lions leading 38-16. But Paul Bergman be very disappointed with his troops here in the second half. They showed some outstanding talent in the first half, and what was probably, as me and you said at half-time, the best game that we've seen so far in this competition. Unfortunately for them, they just haven't been able to complete as far as possession and position on the field goes to compete with the Auckland Lions. But on the other hand, Dale, we see the team that is leading the way in this competition. That's the Auckland Lions. They know how to stack on points. The likes of our Salafaa, the Fisiasi brothers who have come into their own. Marty Mitchell gets a double today, which is what we asked for early on in the game. They are the team to watch this year, aren't they?
Yeah, without doubt. In 16-10, I had showed some promise for these young Wellingtonians, but they really have let themselves down by turning over possession at inopportune times. Their defence has been exposed a couple of times, as we just saw there with Marty Mitchell, who ran it in from 40. But really, when you are down on the scoreboard, what a coach is looking for is character. And they might be young, but they can play it out for the 80, and that's what he'll be hoping that they do. At the moment, they look as though they are setting themselves up to have another try conceded against them. They're not moving up together in the line at times. Their defence out wide isn't moving up with the forwards in the middle, and they're getting exposed around the ruck time and time again.
Yeah, that's right. And I suppose what you're looking for, as we see Ione here again taking the ball to the line, young Howard Matthews here taking a big tackle here from Melo Kulabu. What you are looking for is you're looking for experience. Unfortunately for Wellington, they don't have the experience like the likes of Matty Stern, like the likes of Regan Wood, who can lead them around the field, like Anthony Swan. Unfortunately for Wellington, they're a young team building for the future, and experience is telling the telling factor today.
And thin on the ground, Fred Lomore is their captain today. But they really just need to be spoken to. Say, guys, let's go back to the start. Let's say we're at 0-0 and just play the way that we know we can. I mean, these fundamental errors are really are making life difficult for both them, for Paul Bergman, and no doubt for our Wellington whānau who are supporting this young Orcas squad from Te Whanganui Atara. They'll be a little disappointed with how they've fired in the second half, or to be more accurate, I suppose, haven't fired.
I'll tell you what, though, boys, the Wellington Orcas, for me, I've seen there's the big five. There's the Lions, there's the Rangers, the Harbour League, the Bulls, and also the Titans. They're the big five. I would place the Wellington Orcas 6. I would place them outside of that top 5, the most dangerous team in this competition, because of that unpredictable value of this team. They are young. They've got some dynamic players. And if I was those top 5 teams, I'd be worried every time I went out against them.
Well, be worried. Be very, very worried, I would think, if you were one of the Orcas. But the ball's gone down. Now, if we look at under-20 rugby league, and this is going to become a big feature of the domestic and international game in seasons to come, this type of preparation will be serving that sort of squad very well.
That's exactly right, Dale. If you look at the Wellington squad, at the average age is 17, most of these kids will be playing in the under-20 competition when it comes around for the New Zealand Rugby League. So they are a young team with a big future. They just got to be in the right competitions or mature into that team that we know that they can be. I'm like Te Arahi. I think they can cause some upsets in this competition. Maybe still a little bit young at this stage. Maybe even look for a couple of experienced heads to lead them around.
Well, Te Arahi, one of the other interesting facets is that in round 2 of the National Premiership, each squad will be travelling with an under-18 team. What's going to happen there for Wellington when most of this team are already under-18?
Exactly. They're going to have like 12-year-olds in their 18s. It's going to be chaos. But no, I mean, they have shown a lot of weaknesses. I mean, a lot of things that inexperienced players do. I mean, we'll go back to that offload that Ben Mazzolino did not need to do that. That they make the breaks, but it's just that experience factor. And I guess, you know, as the competition goes along, where they get used to playing with one another and come, you know, a little bit more times experience was coming down to those situations, whether to hold, whether to throw the pass. I think they'll get better and better as the year goes on.
I sometimes wonder if football players remember to count when they're on the field. Half the time, you know, when the ball should be getting set for a downtown or a kick to get them into better field position, guys are trying to pop the pass. So you've coached plenty of footballers. You think they can count, Tony?
Oh, mate, that's why you want to put them into an academy which teaches them about education and how to count, Dale. It's something that we've identified, and the best thing I'm going to do, and one of the curriculum parts that they're going to have to be able to do is count.
Oh,
so,
mate, Kempe, Richie and Tawada, they learned from counting all their money from all their contracts. Don't worry about that.
Oh, thank you very much, Te Arahi. I'll buy you a beer after this, mate. Unlike tailwinder, let me say.
5 out from the line. Regan Wing. Flat ball pass. That's to Mitchell. Double around looking for Physicality. Back to Marty Mitchell it comes. Mitchell keeps the ball alive for Danny O'Regan. Then it's taken, but it's a prop, is it? Will he go all the way? This is actually Daly Johnson. Johnson running down from behind, and who picks him off? It's his opposite number, Ioane. Ball played. Fell along from Dexter Buchanan. Back to Johnson.
He's very, very tired, Daly Johnson, after that 70-metre run. But Wellington Orcas have him out here on the left-hand side. They go right. Here we go again. We don't get to see young Cahill in the legs. Mind you, he's broken a couple of tackles here. They still have him out here on the right-hand side of the line's defensive line. If they can get a quick play the ball.
He's taking exception here somewhere. He wants to go on with it. He got whacked in the goalies by the looks. Well, he's dark on him.
Take the penalty, where you go. Where you go.
They still have him out here on the right-hand side, Dale, if they can tap the ball and just move it.
He's already on the court, all right? Tell him to go back to the team.
Well, he's suggesting that the winger, Cahill, had a tug on his orchestra stalls.
This is going to be an interesting replay.
As we see the crown lift trucks pull, is that Paul Physicality just took a swing there, but if we could just take it back a little bit further and have a look to see what actually caused that outburst from Paul Physicality as he holds the golden jewels. Maybe young Tim Cahill did something that he shouldn't have done, Dale.
Golden jewels? Yeah, let's have another look what actually happened here. He's to ground now. And this is Cahill getting up.
Oh, I think he's saying that he bit him. You have a look at where Tim Cahill's mouth was. He's got a mouth guard on. It's black and identifiable, but
he didn't bite the jewels, did he?
Oh, I hope not.
It's an accidental elbow. Here's us conspiracy theorists as we see the Orcas coming towards the line. I've never seen Physicality come up like that. It's not in his game, really, so something's obviously happened, and he thought that Cahill was responsible. It could well have been an accident. Let's get back to the action.
Yes, they've got a big move set up out here on the left-hand side. It looks like Ben Mutalino's the go-to man.
Tareka gone backwards, play on, and the Lions come swarming all over Tareka. He'll play it now 25 out from the line. Into dummy half goes Willie Kortua, and he gets it onto Matulino. Referee says play on. He's had a good game today, our referee. You haven't been seeing much of him, and that's always a good indicator of whether he's gone well. Tackle is made on Meli Kuliavu. We'll play it 5 short of the line now. Dummy half is Carnegie. Carnegie with a flat ball to Tareka. Wide they come and picking up Willie Kortua. Cut out ball on the far side. And they turn it over once again, the Orcas. Referee will say play on. And with it, the Lions.
0, stand.
Howard Matthews bring it out there. Great play by the Auckland Lions. Good defence. The first time they've been put under some pressure. And the carry here by
Shopkul, I think that
Shopkul it was who was bringing it out. Great carry to get them back up to where nearly the halfway line as Paul Physicality, Dave Physicality, sorry, goes in there for another carry to give his forwards a break.
Well, short of the halfway line, Tarahi might be. They were down there. They went shop and come away with no goods, though. Here's the territorial stats at the moment. As you can see, 60-40 in favour of the team leading comfortably, 38 points to 16. There's a hole up the middle. Full advantage, Regan Wing. Turns it back on the inside, finds Sturm, but there for it is Carnegie from the Orcas.
I'll tell you what, Matty Sturm will be kicking himself out. He's having a beer tonight talking to Regan Wood. He doesn't score too many tries. Does our Matty Sturm in great position there. Great support line. Regan Wood hadn't spent a majority of the first half on the bench, finding huge holes in that Wellington defensive line. Unfortunate for the Auckland Lions not to score another try there.
Into the last 9 minutes of the match, 16-10 it was at half-time. The Lions over the Orcas, as you can see, they have capitalised well in this second 40, 30 of it, I should say. Now darting forward is Joey Flint. Still a wall of Lions defenders. They've played well. There'll be celebrations on once again down at Fowles Park today. And that kick is a good one.
By Daly Johnson. That's basically, Dale, what they needed to do in the first half as far as gain some possession, but a little bit too late with only 8 minutes to go for that type of play to be on. I'd be trying my hand at everything now to get some more points on the board, but let's just take our hat off to the Auckland Lions today. They wore it early. The Wellington Orcas had come to play the game. They had completed most of their sets in the first half, and the Auckland Lions stood up to them and kept themselves in the game, leading 16-10 at half time, and now showing us in the second half that they can play football for 80 minutes. And all the other teams out there watching, beware. These are the team. This is the team that's setting the benchmark.
Yeah. And of course, the Orcas a lot to learn from the way that they've approached their games. Taurehi.
Yeah, exactly right there, Kempe. I totally agree. Within the second half, not only has their attack been great, but their defence has been, pressure defence has been up and in, it's been attacking, which forces the Orcas to make the mistakes. And the best way, I guess, to take the danger out of a dangerous side is to get the ball out of their hands, and they've done a great job of that in the second half.
Well, we've got a moment too. I'd just like to put a bit of a pānui out to all players who have played before for the very proud Takahiwai club in the north, just south of Whangarei. They have their 75th Jubilee being held Queen's Birthday weekend. And I've been speaking with Dave and Georgie Milner from Takahiwai, and anyone who's played over the years, most welcome to come back and celebrate with them their 75th anniversary this Queen's Birthday weekend. Head up time, it's Fred Lomoa, captain of these young Chargers today. Back he plays to Carnegie. Carnegie works it to Kortua. Now it's Matulino once again out the back door. Kortua, that's the way to score tries. One-on-one with Timmy Cahill. Goes towards the line.
Geez, that was a wonderful effort by Timmy Cahill. I thought he's over the try line there. He looks like half his body's over there, but the referee's calling him short. I would have gone to the TMO there to have a look, but as we see the Wellington Orcas knocking it on and letting the Auckland Lions off the hook again.
Yes, indeed, they did that time around.
Geez, I'd like to have a look at that replay there. I thought Timmy Cahill, who probably deserves a try today for the amount of effort that he's put in, his body was halfway over the try and the referee was calling him short. I think he was unlucky there with that call.
You were right close by on the sideline. Tally, your thoughts?
Oh, I'm exactly the same. I thought he did go over, and I thought those pictures when the players got off him that the ball was clearly over the line, but he's doing it tough as well. Tim Cahill has showed great amount of effort. He's got a crook leg, he's clutching at his back. He almost got into a scuffle with one of the Physicality brothers, so he's been involved in everything.
Up the middle they come once again. The Lions not content with the lead, 38-16. Counting down on the clock. It's 5.5 minutes to play. Well, they'll have to look forward to next week and try and refine their attack and defence. Taurehi, the Orcas, they will have learnt a bit going up against the Prems this afternoon.
Exactly right, Dale. They have got, and it's just pretty simple stuff. I guess, again, their effectiveness close to the line is one very, very good positive thing about their game, but it's just actually getting there is the problem, getting out of their own half and getting themselves out of trouble. They put a big win up against the Falcons last week, 54-26. Before that, again, the Rangers, they're taking the Titans on as well as the Lions. So they've had some pretty stiff competition. They'll go up against teams very soon that don't have as much experience as the Lions, so hopefully they might fare a bit better.
This is a wonderful try.
Scores the most unlikely of tries. I was about to call it in. The referee has.
This is a wonderful
try.
When he carried the ball from the scrum there, it looked like he was running over the sideline, Dale, but spins out of three would-be defenders and finds himself in there clear. Let's have a look at it as Daley Johnson finds him here with a nice long pass. He heads towards the sideline, looks like he's heading out, gets up, he's not held. Ioane lets him go, and all of a sudden he finds himself here in some space, and it's just a foot race to the try line, and big Salafar Local can't pull him down in time before he gets over the try line. Wonderful try by the Wellington Orcas.
And a wonderful rendition coupled with some laughter as well in the commentary, Tony.
I'll tell you what, this kid here, he gave Phil Bergman some heart attacks early on in the second half, but he's just repaid him back there with what I think is probably the try of the game. Great carry, great try.
Hayden Magali looking to add the extras. 38-20 is the scoreline at the moment with that try to Kuliavu. 15 to the left-hand side of the posts. This time he splays it. And let's have another look at this rather amazing try, Taurehi.
He's just looking at this, exactly playing to the whistle. Man, these guys would be spewing. He had about 4 guys on him at one point, and he still managed to carry on and score the try. Now, Kolevo is his 3rd try for the season, which ties him as top 4 of the Wellington Orcas, taking over, I guess, from Umpolis Kua. I don't know if you remember him from last year, but he was the top try scorer for the Wellington Orcas, scoring 14 for the season. Not here this year, so maybe we've found the new Kua, and it's Kolevo.
Yes, nice try, Tiara, here as we're taken through that with a crown lift replay, showing there that maybe Dale, it was a touch and go there as he got to the try line. So once again, we're probably not using the TMO as much as the referees should be with a couple of decisions today, but I don't think it's going to reflect anyhow the game. The Lions leading 38-20 with only 2 minutes to go.
And while we're talking about TMO, I tend to think that it's become almost too long each time they pause to have a look and check upstairs. I don't think the players nor the crowds expect to stand around for 2 minutes while the TOM or the TMO, call it what you will, makes his decision.
Yes, no, that's right, and it probably takes away from a spectator's point of view we want to see a game where referees actually make calls and say that's a try. We don't have to always go to a video referee, do we?
Well, it would seem not. You play plenty of football without them. You accept when you play football that the man with the whistle is going to make the odd mistake. It's part of the game, and you tend to accept it. But of course, there's so much money on the line nowadays. They decided to use technology to try and address those mistakes. But I think it's brought more problems into the arena.
Cross forward. Last handover. Here.
Winding down now, Tarahi, and just difficult. We'd hate to see the boys from Wellington drop off and allow another try to be conceded in the last 2 minutes. It happens often, but they've got a long season ahead, and their coach is looking intently at the character of each player. And what he wants to see is someone who will go 80 minutes for him as the Lions get themselves set.
Tautoko, we've seen it over the last couple of weeks, just in the dying stages, that teams just pretty much stop playing about 5 minutes to go, which doesn't reflect well on the scoreboard. I mean, I guess, 38-20, they've been beaten, but you wouldn't want a 50-20 scoreline. I guess it's, psychologically, it's not nice to see the big half a century up against
and I'll tell you what, both coaches themselves and teams should be rewarded today. That's been a wonderful, I think probably our best game so far this year, which has been televised on multi-television. The Auckland Lions, of course, again showing that they have too much strength for the visiting teams, but the Orcas not disgraced at all, Dale.
Not at all, no, and I'm looking forward to seeing them play a number of times through the season. There's plenty to like about their performance this afternoon, and looking forward to seeing improved performances throughout the season. This man's had a telling impact. It's Kimi Iwasi. He gets the ball on, and that's Marty Mitchell. Almost walks across the line. And excuse me for not getting excited, but nor did the defenders. And so that's why there's another 4-pointer scored next to the post.
I'll tell you what, Marty Mitchell, after saying that he needs to take the ball to the try line, has gone over for another try to get his hat-trick, Dale. Kevin Iro, write the check out, son. This kid's got to play NRL.
Marty Mitchell, super talent. He might be, you touched on it just a moment ago, 2 minutes to play, and the effort defensively, a lot to be desired there.
Oh, disappointing, especially when you have a look at the guy's number on his back. He's a number 7, and he's just busted through your defensive line to score a try. But good on Marty Mitchell. I put the word to him earlier on in the game, just saying that he needed to step it up, take that leadership role, and it doesn't get much better than scoring 3 tries in a game for your team.
I'm looking forward to the post-match comments as Marty Mitchell adds the extras, not surprisingly, and the clock must almost be up for Mutu, but a solid second half performance. I remind you that it was 16-10 to the Lions at half time, and they have ballooned it out now to a 44-20 winning result.
Yes, it's been a wonderful display in the second half from the Auckland Lions, setting the benchmark in this competition. Again, running away with the game like we saw against the Canterbury Bulls last week, where they were put under the hammer early in the first half, but just showing too much class in the second. And of course, scoring plenty of points, leading and winning this game 44-20 as a referee calls a halt to the game here at North Harbour Stadium. The Lions winning 44 against the Orcas 20.
Yeah, well, a disappointing second half from the Orcas, but they will have learnt plenty from it. In the end, the inexperience, a telling factor, and 4 premierships in a row for the Auckland Lions, or certainly players in their squad who have had 4 Barley Card premierships. They show their experience and in the end run out convincing winners, 44-20 in the second half. Great effort from the Lions, and not too bad from the Orcas. Got a lot to look forward to in 2007 from them.
Yes, Dale, as we see here, the Auckland Lions, so just giving themselves a big hug and a well done, which is well deserved, I think, and as we see also the Wellington Orcas in their huddle, these young blokes building a culture that's going to hold them in good stead in the future. I thought, Dale, a wonderful game, one that we've probably have all enjoyed today, including the public. Thanks a lot for viewing us here at Māori Television and helping us watch what has been a fantastic game between the Auckland Lions and the Wellington Orcas.
The 44-20 after it all is done and dusted. The Lions beat the Orcas. We will evaluate that game and speak with the captains of the respective teams. Stick around here on Māori Television's Saturday Afternoon League.